Quint. My guest today on IPO is Mr. Naresh Patel, who is the chairman and managing director of AMI Organics, and Abhishek Patel, who is the chief financial officer at the company. The company is coming out with an IPO which opens on September 1st and closes on September 3rd, pricing the IPO between 6003 and 610. There is a fresh offer of 200 crores and an OFS of 370 crores, making the total size of the offer at 570 odd crores. Gentlemen, welcome to Bloomberg Quint. Let me begin with you, Mr. Patel. Uh, can you give us a brief outline of what your company does, and within the specialty chemical space, where do you stand?
We started AMI Organics in 2004 as a chemical manufacturing company to supplying large-scale production for phase 3, phase 4 kind of requirement of big pharma based in Europe, and they are originators. And by this way, we started our company. And since the last 17 years, we had developed more than 450 molecules with 17 therapeutic area. In that, because of our very good R&D capabilities, and that give us a very good advantage of early identifying the molecules, and then molecules we keep very early developed and then circulating to worldwide more than 150 customers based in 4 continents, mainly in Europe and in Asia like Israel, Japan, Korea, China as well, and Taiwan, and also in India, all top 50 API manufacturers, all are our customers. And this also giving us a very good advantage that we are always in the preferred supplier list because of our very high standard of quality management system. Though we are making in chemicals, we are not liable for any regulatory inspection from FDA. Even though that AMI Organics got 2 times FDA inspection, and both times we had successfully completed that FDA. So this gives us the very good confidence to our API manufacturer that we are one of the highest compliant facility, which give them very good supporting in that documentation and DMF filing. Not only that, AMI Organic is a very good chemistry positioning, and is also giving us a leverage that we cannot apply our chemistry only in pharmaceutical, but also in specialty chemical as well. And that is how we also grow our specialty segment, and we are supplying mainly in Europe our specialty chemicals. In last year, we identified that we can go also inorganically in specialty chemical segment, and we identified Gujarat Organic is a good option for us, and we acquired in March 31st, 2021 Gujarat Organics. Gujarat Organics is a very good pipeline and very good chemistry they are also doing, which is one of the unique chemistry doing in India. And their product pipeline mainly going in cosmetic, personal care, agrochemicals, and petroleum industry as well for the electron kind of catalyst. So this is very, very promising pipeline with a proper operational control and management and productivity and all that can be grow very well. So this is how AMI Organics also acquired our segment of specialty chemicals grow with acquiring Gujarat Organics.
I was about to come to Gujarat Organics as well when he spoke of, you currently have a capacity of 6,060 metric tons per annum. Half of that is in the acquired company, which is Gujarat Organics, through 2 facilities. What is the kind of revenue potential of those 2 facilities?
See, in terms of revenue potential, Gujarat Organics has revenue of 106 crore in last financial year as per GSTR return filed by Gujarat Organics Limited. Going at that level, that capacity utilization was below 40%. So we see an ample opportunity in terms of revenue growth from that 2 business units going forward.
Okay, so that means that you expect your revenues to jump by a third by the end of the current fiscal FY22.
See, in last 5 financial year of your, if you see 10 financial year, we are going at a CAGR of more than 20%, and we are expecting similar growth actually in our organic business as well going forward. And Gujarat Organic side, since this is the year of integration for us, we are not expecting a very huge amount of growth coming from that business. But from FY23 and 24 onwards, you can expect even higher growth as business from Gujarat Organics product lines.
So, the potential for Gujarat Organics to add to your existing revenue base, which is around roughly around 340 odd crores, that would mean that you will be looking at the targeted estimated revenue of more than 500 crores in this current fiscal? I'm just taking like to like and adding it and the growth rate which you've been growing at.
Yes, you can do that, but guidance are still not available.
Yeah, okay. What is the kind of margins that the new acquisition will bring in? I mean, you ended the year with 23% odd margins, EBITDA margins. Will Gujarat Organic have the similar margin or more margin?
Gujarat Organics Limited had a little lesser margin in under that management till FY21. But in FY22, we are already integrated that system with our existing lines, and we are expecting the margins to grow, be better in this financial year.
So in this range that you have, or it will still your margins will still be depressed a bit because of the consolidation that happens in this financial year.
There will be in fact our existing business margins are increasing every year. If you see our trends for last financial, it has been increasing every year, not in last financial year, but in last 5 financial year. So it will compensate for some dip of because of that integration in FY23. But still, margin will largely remain similar for us. And going forward, it can increase based on the last as per the trends.
Mr. Naresh Patel, you raised 100 crores through preferential issue in August, pricing at 603 per share. What is that amount going to be used for? Because the current amount of 200 crores you're going to use to reduce your debt and working capital requirement. Together 300 odd crores you have raised. So how will you manage use that proceeds?
300 crore primary what we had going to raise with this IPO. Out of that 100 crore we got from this pre-IPO. So cumulatively all these 300 crore goes for paying our debts of 140 crores, and then 90 crore is going to be for working capital for split it in 2 years, 2 financial years, whereas rest is for the general corporate purpose.
How do you plan to bring down your working capital requirement? Because it was 117 days in FY21, rose from some 80, 90 days. Mr. Abhishek Patel, will that bring down your working capital significantly?
See, if you see our financials, as we just mentioned, we acquired Gujarat Organics business, and that acquisition date was 31st March 2021. So because of that, the transaction was done on slump sale basis. The debtors, inventory, and other working capital item become part of our balance sheet as on 31st March 2021. So if we remove that impact of acquisition from our financial, our standalone business working capital is quite in line with the previous year's figure. And debtors are ranging in the range of 90 to 100 days, which is a kind of industry standard only. Inventory remains in the range of 75 to 80 days, and creditors around 100 days, and that is expected to be remain similar only.
What about plant utilization? I understand in FY21 it was around 66-70% odd for you guys. How do you see plant utilization going up? I'm asking this because I want to see you're talking about 20% growth every year in your revenue. Will this be because of the increased plant utilization and then coming on stream of Gujarat Organics as well? How will you how will you go about getting this ramped up?
Plant utilization point of view, after acquiring Gujarat Organics facility, now our capacity is increased threefold. So right now, currently, our cumulative utilization is somewhere falling between 40% to 50%, and that can be go in next couple of years. We can utilize this free capacity for our growth. And later on, as we are year to year, we are doing capex for our upcoming products, and that can be the similar kind of history we will repeat in the future as well.
What kind of capex is there planned in the next 1 or 2 years?
For the time being, the capex is already done for Gujarat Organics, whereas the capex related to maintenance will going to be there. And for the revenue generation for 24-25, we will be do some capex for upcoming new facility, but that can be decided based on the requirement in the time.
In your RHP, you had mentioned that you look at inorganic growth, and So I wanted to understand which is the area that is much more attractive within the specialty chemicals, where you will look for some inorganic growth coming forward. And there's also a mention of a brownfield facility that may come up at Jagadia, because you have excess land there. So when is that expected?
See, in terms of inorganic growth, we have already acquired Gujarat, two business unit of Gujarat Organics. One is located at Ankleshwar, and second one is located at Jagadia, and that expands our presence in chemical sector, which was around 5% of our total revenue till FY21, and that will expand our chemical portfolio around 20 to 25% of the total revenue. So these are the area we are looking forward as well. In terms of Jagadia facility brownfield expansion, we have 16,000 square meter of land available at Jagadia, which is having all the statutory approval in place, including EC, and that can be a good place to set up any kind of a new brownfield expansion in future. But those estimations are still yet not finalized.
Give me a sense of the export potential that you have, because you have nearly 52% coming from exports, of your revenues coming from export, and is growing at around 22% odd. Which are the new geographies or existing geographies which have huge potential to give you that jump?
See, basically, as we are making chemicals, our geography will remain in this four continent only, because these are the continent where the main API manufacturers are located. So geography point of view, we are still on the same page, but our products, which are upcoming new products, which are going to be utilized by these all customers, will give us the growth of our revenue.
And within the domestic market, I understand Laurus and Cipla are one of the largest customers for you. Do you have firm commitments from them, or is it as and when requirement that comes from them?
Normally in India, the domestic sales are always on the 2 to 3 months of spot basis always, because it's all domestic market is already driven like that. And so normally for the domestic, we don't have a long-term contract, whereas for export, we have a long-term contract, and where we have a visibility of more than 1 year in the export. Domestic, we have more 2 to 3 months of visibility always with us.
What about expanding beyond the 17 therapeutic areas? Because if you look at your concentration of revenues, 3 of the therapeutic areas, which is antidepressant, antiretroviral, and anticoagulants, they account for nearly 55% of the revenue for you. And that's a concentration in three therapeutics, though you are across 17. Is there a plan to diversify and reduce the risk of exposure there?
I will see this is not a risk. This is, I think, is an advantage of AMI Organics. We have a 17 therapeutic area, which is a diversity. When we started with anticoagulant. Now we have 17 therapeutic areas where we can promote our product, and we have more than 400 products which are falling in this segment. And that products are going to be launching in next upcoming year. We have a visibility up to 2032 of our pipeline. So there is the segment of this other therapeutic area will be growing upcoming years, and by this way we are stabilizing our concentration from 1 to 2 to 3 to 10 and 10 to 17.
Okay, and what about client concentration or customer concentration? Because top 5 accounts for 44-45% for you.
Yeah, but this top 5 is not contributing only one product. They are contributing more than one product. So it's a concentration of the client is okay, but in that sense, the product is minimum 3 to 5 products are with each client. So this is how our new product also adding with the same client. So that's why concentration you see a little bit higher, but the dependence on the product is much wider.
Tell me, sir, how is this specialty segment expanding within the country? Because we have seen now in the last 3-4 months a lot of organic companies coming into the market. You're one of them. How do you see the growth potential for specialty chemicals in India? Do you see growing at the same rate which you've been growing, or are you seeing a lot of competition coming into this market?
See, in terms of specialty chemicals, definitely it will go much higher than what it has a very big potential, because of several global reasons are there, and which are definitely giving Indian specialty chemical manufacturer much more advantage in that. and that will be grow for upcoming years definitely. And AMI Organics also having one of the gainer of that in terms of promoting our inorganic growth of specialty chemicals. But our core business, which is we are doing right now in AMI Organics in pharma, where we are already dominating in ourselves against China in the world. We are holding 80-90% of our product in that segment of our position. Though we have a Chinese competition, but they could not able to break our positioning in that segment. So in that sense, we are very well situated in terms of our positioning. Specialty chemicals will be definitely is a lucrative area where niche chemistry applications, infrastructures, everything will be count for your growth, and that is the where Indian specialty chemical manufacturers are trying to put themselves in that area.
What about suppliers? Because you still dependent on some of the supplies from China.
Our import are reduced to very drastically to only 27% of the total raw material required. Out of that, only 18% we are importing from China, whereas the rest we are importing from Europe and other countries. So you can see that our dependency in Chinese supplies is much lesser than the our other competitors or other peers.
Abhishek, if you can give us an idea of the debt after you have paid out, will you be a zero debt company?
Will be net debt zero.
Net debt zero. And what is the kind of cash you're holding in your books as of today?
As of today, it's a cash of minimal around 2-3 crore only.
And that cash would go up, I assume, in the coming financial as the debt goes to zero, right? So in that sense, what is the kind of dividend policy that you're going to have?
See, at present, because till date, we were a very closely held company and we didn't have any formal dividend policy in place. But going forward, as we are going in public, we will definitely have and dividend policy, and will regard our investor based on that policy. See, idea is to generate a cash flow which can support our CAGR of more than 20-25% in past as well. So we'll balance out both the things in terms of our growth as well as the dividend.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us on Bloomberg Quint. The IPO of AMI Organics opens on September 1st, closes on 3rd. Price between 603 to 610 gives the company a market value of nearly 1,935 crores at the upper end of the price band. Thank you for watching Bloomberg Quint.
Thank you very much.